I'm Elisa.
And I'm Kira.
And you're watching Polymer Clay TV.
You can find us online at polymerclaytv.com.
And you can find us at polymerclayclassroom.com.
And craftedonline.com.
And don't forget about our network, polymerclay.ning.com.
So enjoy the show.
Today's show is about UV curing resin. First I'm going to take something I molded with Amazing Mold Putty. And I'm going to get some magic gloss. This is Lisa Pavelka's magic gloss. It cures in UV light, which thankfully I have a lot of. Copper glitter. It's very fine glitter. So let's start by filling our silicone mold with the magic gloss, just by dripping it in right out of the bottle. Now I am not outside, I'm inside. It's evening and I'm just working at a well-lit table. You don't want to do this in the sunlight or in a bright window because the UV gloss will start curing on you. So I filled it, but I've left the part open in the center because I intend to put some polymer clay in that later. And now I'm going to sprinkle on some glitter. And I'm just going to use my little tool to kind of mix the glitter in. Not too much because I don't want to disturb the UV curing properties of the resin. It's not like a regular like two-part epoxy resin where you can throw all kinds of things in there and then it'll cure. This resin needs to be hit by UV light. So if you're going to put inclusions in it, you've got to make sure that they're small enough that they're not going to interfere with the curing. So now I've mixed it in and I'm just making sure that it's floating around in there nicely. And I'm going to make sure to clean my tool because I wouldn't want the UV resin to cure on it. And I'm going to take it outside onto my Florida balcony, where I'm going to allow it to rest for a little while in the sunlight. Now it's evening, but I'm going to leave it overnight on the balcony. And I'll give you a little view of where I live. I live on the beach. So now just let this cure. It doesn't take overnight. It takes 15 minutes if you've got strong sun or under a lamp. And it's the next day, and I'm going to take my Pardo clay and roll up a little ball of it. I'm going to show you how to use the clay with the resin to create something really cool. So I'll pop my molded piece out. You can see I didn't need any mold release or anything. The only problem is that the silicone mold sometimes takes a little of the shine off the resin, so I'm going to show you a couple tricks to get it back. So I'm putting it on my Teflon sheet so that it'll come off easily, and I'm going to press it so that some of that clay pops up through the opening that I left in the resin. And now I'm going to embed an eye pin on the back so that I can hang this pendant later. And you could turn it into a ring or a magnet or anything you want, but make sure to do things before baking so that you have a way to hang it. And I'm just going to spread the clay out on the back of the piece and put in a Swarovski crystal. And use my little tool to make sure that it embeds right. You always want to make sure that your embedded objects have a little lip of clay around them to hold them in after baking. So just spread your clay out to meet the edges of the resin piece, like so. And I think I'll probably turn this into a pendant. I was thinking about making a ring too. You could make a ring easily by embedding a hoop of wire that you can then wrap around a mandrel and size it. So now let's talk about how to get the shine back on the surface of the piece. I'm just going to take my piece and get my gloss back and throw a little ring of it onto the high points just by hand. I find that when I do pieces like this is the best way to make them really shiny on the front. And then you can also do selective areas, like I'm just going to put little rings around the petals and allow everything else to be the not so shiny finish. Now if you had less texture, you could sand it also. It'll work with a very high grit sandpaper to bring back some of that shine. But I figure the resin sticks to itself and it cures so quickly, why not just use it to shine itself back up? And it also gives me a chance to allow that clay, you know, I've got a little bit of resin now coming up around the clay on the front, so it helps it all hold itself together. And then I'm just going to take that back out on my porch and let it dry for another 15 minutes in the sun. And you can get a lamp too. Lisa has lamps. There's all kinds of ways to cure this resin. Sunlight, lamps, anything you want. So thanks for watching. This is Polymer Clay TV that you can find on polymerclayproductions.com.